You have just tuned into Miles to Go with Brittany Miles. How to lose to gain it all. Listen as coach and healer Brittany Miles shares stories that teach you about surrender and letting go in order to let new and better things come into your life. Learn the true meaning of surrender. Get ready. Here is Brittany showing you how to lose to gain it all.
Hey everyone, welcome back. You're here with me, Brittany Miles, on Miles to Go with Brittany Miles, how to lose to gain it all. And I think we have a fun topic today. The title of the show or episode is called Your Brain Lied to You. And that comes from my youth, my childhood, from when a family member who was close family member who would take care of me along with their children, whenever we did something, let's say was questionable, maybe wrong, not allowed, and we would give the rationale why we did it. It was like, well, who told you to do that? And we would say, well, we thought, and this family member would say very succinctly, your brain lied to you. And then we would get into punishment. So I thought that statement is just so funny, and I think a lot of people will connect with it, but it helps to kind of bring a link to what I want to talk today about thoughts. And what are you thinking right now? What is your thought? Are you in the present? Are you in the past? Are you in the future? Are you relitigating an argument you had with your spouse or your parents back in the day, or even with your child about doing a project or homework, or when they can go out and when they need to be back home, or what they can buy or what they can do? Because we are a product, not a byproduct, but we are a product of our thinking. Whatever we think, we outpicture. And by outpicture, it means that's how we're going to view the world. So if I had, let's say, an argument with my lovely producer, Olivia, 5 seconds before the show, and that didn't happen, I'm just using it as an example. You know what? The start of the show might have had a different feel or flavor because I was still thinking about that, and it would impact the quality of the show. The same thing, if I had a disagreement with my spouse or with my progeny, that would outpicture my day of grumble, grumble, grumble. Why can't they do? Grumble, grumble, grumble. I am a victim. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Yeah, my whole day is wrong. I mean, who among us hasn't had that? I know I have right here. I'm sure, Olivia, if you wanted to chime in, I'm sure you've had that too, where it's that one thing can just upset the apple cart. But should it? Not so much, because the reality is life still is as it is, and you've just changed your thought to something negative. We have so many thoughts that come through in a day, in a minute, in an hour, and we just build stories around that. And the world changes based upon these stories that we build, and then we believe that's our reality. So today I want to talk about how we can shift some of this negative thinking. For the first part of the year, I've been focused on how we can shift our mindset so that we can start the year in a positive way. You know, I'm not a big believer in, what do they call, like, not renewals, but anyway, like starting off with different things, different, goals that we want to have. Because I think most people just never get that. So I would like to say, having us focus on things that we can truly control, such as our mind, through meditation, through affirmation, and then thinking about what we're thinking about. So with that, I want to move into a quote from Sharon Salzberg's Instagram in the past week or so. Thoughts are like clouds moving through the sky. Some are very inviting, others are quite ominous and threatening. Regardless of the form they take, all of these thoughts are not the breath, so you can just let them go. Our habitual tendency is to grab onto a thought, build an entire world around it, or push it away, struggle against it. Here we stay even, balanced, calm. We simply recognize it is not the breath. So Sharon hits on what I'm saying is, what are you thinking about? Because you are the product of what you're thinking. So as I wrote in the episode descriptions, is whatever you're thinking is what you become. We rarely question our thoughts, which are repetitive, mostly negative and loud. That voice that we're hearing is the inner critic, or what we actually think is our mind, but it's not. And we cede control to it, but should we? I want to talk about, as I've been saying, how your brain lies to you in every moment. The beast can be tamed because those voices, or voice, is so loud. It feels like, oh my gosh, it's like there's something wrong with me. It's that voice, the inner critic, saying there's something wrong with me. I'll never succeed. Nobody likes me. I don't have any friends. I'll never, measure up to what mom wants or dad wants or my siblings or my spouse or my boss. And that voice, I need to tell you, isn't real. And it took me until I think the past year to realize that voice that I hear that's so negative, it isn't me. Now, intellectually, I've always known that we have an inner critic, but I never associated that voice that has that repetition, the tape, the replay, the recording that goes on over and over and over again throughout the day, wasn't me. And it was through meditation that I started to hear this still little voice, and that was me. And that voice was the one that I realized was like, no, that's not true. And I got to hear more of it and let it speak more through the process of meditation, through doing some of the work through rain and realizing a lot of things really weren't necessarily true, through the act of self-love and compassion. It started to flower to help me go, oh, those are just thoughts that are going on in my head. And one thing I would say, or I do say to myself, is like, oh, that's not me. Oh, that's not me at all. And the thoughts are starting to lose power, and I'm starting to build my own belief system. And as I said, it's taken me a long time, because this is something that we've built through a lifetime. And we're going to be talking about how New Thought churches such as Science of Mind, Church of Religious Science, Unity, as well as some folks who are leaders in changing your thinking, like Ernest Holmes and Louise Hay, a little bit more in the show to show us, hey, these thoughts are just not true. And the more you realize they are not true and they're not real, it's like turning on the lights in a dark room and the monsters all go away. Or another analogy, maybe kind of gross, but I'll do it anyway. It's like turning on a light and all the roaches scatter. Because sunlight is the best disinfectant. And once you shine a bright light on things that aren't real, you start to realize how what form they took really has no power over you anymore. And once you start to see them as they are, and they get smaller and smaller by becoming realer and realer, you'll realize that, wow, none of this stuff was true. And just to make sure in that last sentence, when I said realer and realer, is that it's more of a realization or a coming to an understanding that this thing that's in the light really isn't what you thought it was. It isn't this thing. And the power it's been taking up in your life, empowering those sticky, ooey gooey places where you feel lost and broken, can be healed. And I have to say, that's kind of like, whew, and kind of a mind blown thing. And it's really hard for people. We have been conditioned by ourselves, our families, society, church, religion, schools, all these other structures to believe some of these things. Like, I'm no good because I am gay, which is not true at all. You are a loving being, loved by a loving God or entity in the universe, and you're supported. Or being told that you were dumb. And that's not true. Everyone is filled with infinite intelligence, and you're supported and loved by the universe. But these are some core beliefs that people still hang on to. And those are the thoughts that are on repeat on that recording. And today I am going to ask, nay, challenge you to start thinking about, is that stuff true? So we're getting ready for a break. And what we're talking about today is your brain lying to you. The episode is entitled Your Brain Lied to You, which comes from my family. And I think it's a good idea for us to challenge what our brain is thinking. It doesn't have control over us. We have control over it. So the next segment, we're going to talk about how thoughts are things. And I ask you to stay tuned. And you're here with me, Brittany Miles, and Miles to Go, How to Lose to Gain It All. And we're talking about thoughts and how we can control them. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Laura Goldstein, and here's a Coffee with the Universe tip. Ever wonder why you want to go to the gym more, for example, but you just can't make it happen? You find yourself rearranging your underwear drawer instead of getting in the car. If this sounds like you, you might have caught a case of the shoulds. Maybe you think you should lose 20 pounds to fit back into your favorite pair of jeans, or that you should be healthier in general. It all sounds good, but deep down you just aren't into it. Truth is, making choices from shoulds just leads to guilt, resentment, and a whole lot of procrastination. So take a good look at your goals. Are you shoulding yourself anywhere? If so, give yourself permission to let it go. For more insights like this, tune into my Transformation Talk radio show called Coffee with the Universe. It's a live call-in show. I'd love to support you.
Juggling life's relentless demands can leave us unbalanced and restless. Do you feel stuck in the overwhelm? Diane McClay is a personal empowerment coach, author, and compassionate storyteller on a mission to boost you into balance and help you move forward with passion and purpose. Get unstuck with Diane on The Diane McClay Show every second and fourth Friday at 1:30 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. For more information about Diane, visit DianeMcClay.com.
Hi, everyone. I'm the host of Nothing But Now, Mindful Living with Dr. Mary Angela McGuire on Transformation Talk Radio. I share ideas, insights, and tools you can use to release yourself from fearful and negative thinking and live from a place of clarity and confidence. Please join me in each show where we challenge ourselves to change together. Please go to my website, McGuireLifeCoach.com. That's McGuireLifeCoach.com. See you next time.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
Did you know that when we talk about the Earth's ecosystems, the most important ecosystem has been left out? We created the ecosystem approach to recapture human potential.
Find us at theecosystemapproach.org.
Join us every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time for the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Has your kindness been used against you?
Are you ready to clear the confusion and reconnect with your power? Then it's time to become toxic person proof. Join toxic relationship specialist Sarah K. Ramsey as she gives you the secrets to rebuilding and rebranding your life after a toxic person encounter. It's time to get past the past, get real about the present, and get serious about your future. For more information, visit sarahkramsey.com.
Learn how to lead a happier life on Miles to Go with Brittany Miles. How to lose to gain it all. Join Brittany every second and fourth Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Listen as coach and healer Brittany Miles shares stories that teach you about surrender. For more information about Brittany, milestogocoaching.com.
Hey everyone, welcome back. You're here with me, Brittany Miles, on Miles to Go with Brittany Miles, how to lose to gain it all. And we're talking about this topic today of your brain lying to you. I know that sounds funny. It comes from my family of origin, where one of my primary caregivers would say that when I and their children would be in trouble, and they would ask, "Who told you to do that? Who said this was a good idea?" And then we would kind of lawyer our way through it. And then they would say, "Well, your brain lied to you," which in retrospect is really funny and very true, because our brains were underdeveloped because we were under probably 10 or 12 at the time when we were doing what we were doing. And then, afterwards we would get, punished for it, and rightly so. But I find that expression works for so many things, and especially for what we're talking about today, which are thoughts. We have many of them, and they are constantly on repeat. For the newer generations, it's sort of your mental playlist. For us folks that are Gen X and maybe older, this is a CD or a tape. Still some sort of recording of, "I'm no good, I'm not pretty, everyone hates me, I have no friends, I will never succeed, I am not good enough." And that's the core of most of those negative thoughts. These negative thoughts are things that you made up about yourself based upon situations you were in, and that was your takeaway, that, again, I wasn't good enough. These are things you might have heard from your family of origin, your siblings, friends, school teachers, principals, institutions that you didn't get into, or your boss, anywhere, just Instagram, because you're not that picture of whatever view of Instagram or social media you consume. And those thoughts are real living things. They are a product, not a byproduct. They are a product of our world, because whatever we think, we then outpicture into our environment. So as I said in the last segment, if I had an argument with my daughter prior to the show, this show would have probably a much different tenor and tone than me saying, "Yeah, I'm having a really great day." And I actually am having a really great day. Honestly, there's nothing I can complain about. So therefore, that thought is positive. However, all of those other negative thoughts are not real. Those are things that are part of that tape, CD, mental playlist that you have. Who you really are is another still small voice inside of you. And you can start to hear that voice once you start to realize the thoughts on that playlist have no power on you. So where does this concept of thoughts or things come from? So if you are familiar with the New Thought Church, and we've been talking about this a bit, we talked about this in our last show with Bronwyn Morgan on affirmations, and I highly encourage you to check that out, because this links back to that show as well. It's that within these churches in unity, or Science of Mind or Church of Religious Science, there's a book that's called Thoughts Are Things, and it's by Ernest Holmes. He is the founder, leader of the Church of Religious Science. He was alive 1887 to 1960, and during the New Thought movement, and still today in the New Thought movement, is that the foundational teaching is that your thoughts are things, and if you want to change your life, change your thinking. Another prominent person that talked about this and taught this was Louise Hay, and we lost Louise, I think, last year before. She passed in the early 90s, and she wrote a book called You Can Heal Your Life. And if you are familiar with Hay House Publishers, who basically publish all of your favorite New Thought teachers, spiritual teachers, it's her. It was her publishing company. And Louise talked about, if you change your thinking, you change your life, just like Ernest Holmes. She was a Church of Religious Science. I think she created treatments. I can't think of what her role was, but basically like a coach, where she would help people to change those thoughts and replace them with positive ones. So if you continue on with these negative thoughts, you're only going to get a negative result. If you change those thoughts to something that's different, you gain a lot more power. So if you stay negative, all you're going to get is something negative. If you become more positive, you should have more of a positive outcome. So some of the things that you believe about yourself is, I am no good. Again, that's usually the foundational thing for all of us. Like, just that's how Western culture is, and I think we all buy into that and have that. Is that, no, Brittany, you are smart, you are empathetic, and you're able to help yourself and to help others. You are loving, or I put it, these should be I am statements. I am loving. I am compassionate. I am whole, perfect, and complete. In this moment, I am whole, perfect, and complete. The wisdom and the abundance of the universe supports me. I am fully supported. I hope that makes sense. Because once I start believing that I'm fully supported by the universe, and I repeat that in the same way that I've been repeating the other negative thoughts, my life starts to change. Is this going to happen overnight? No. We have, and it's been said, and I looked and did a kind of cursory search, so bear with me, is that we could have, it's been said, and this was from a 2017 study, so bear with me, I'm going to read something to you. Michigan State University Extension Stress Less with Mindfulness programs stated, as of 2017, a person has 80,000 thoughts per day. One, that's like crazy. Crazy. Can you believe that we have 80,000 thoughts in a 24-hour period? Now, 90% of these thoughts are ones that we've had before, like, I'm no good. Nobody likes me. I'm unloved. I'm unlovable. I am ugly. I am stupid. So we've had these thoughts before. This is part of the tape, part of the CD, part of the playlist, that recording of over and over and over. And now the next part, which I'm leading into, of that 90%, 80% of those are negative. Think about it. So I'm going to share some of my interior world, is that I will hear myself, my show is not good enough. Dr. Pat doesn't like my content. My producer, Olivia, is sitting in judgment. She has better hosts that she works with. Nobody listens to me. I am not enough of an authority to talk to people in this way. So do you see where I'm going? And that's just about this show. Now let's take this and blow this up to the rest of my life at work. Wow, I said something really dumb right there. I don't understand this technical concept. Everybody thinks I'm stupid. My boss is mad at me because I made this remark. My coworker didn't respond to my email fast enough, so therefore something must be wrong. So I've done something wrong. Moving on to parenting. My child is unhappy. I'm a bad mother. My child will not eat the food that I'm cooking. I must be a bad cook. So you can see that all of these negative thoughts are there. And I mean, you can blow this up into the rest of your life. So I can see how I have 80,000 thoughts. But of those, that 80% are negative, and that's a lot. Like, that's a lot of pressure and a lot of stress that we put upon ourselves on a daily basis, not even daily, moment by moment. And this is where the power of, okay, let's just say it, positive thinking, such as affirmations, and just shifting those thoughts just a little bit can have a profound effect on your life. It can profoundly affect you in the place of, wow, I'm not as stressed. Wow, I can focus. And wow, I'm not that bad of a person. And that still small voice can come up and tell you all of that good stuff. Isn't that really cool? We are not necessarily what we think. And with that, we're going to run over to a break. You are with Brittany Miles on Miles to Go with Brittany Miles, How to Lose to Gain It All. And we're talking about how your brain lies to you. Don't believe those negative thoughts. And I'm going to tell you how you can start to take over and take back your brain. Stay tuned.
The Finder of Lost Things, exploring your superpowers of trust, healing, and transformation with me, Hannah Belton. When my brother Christian went missing, I completely denied my grief. We can either transform and transition, or we can stay stagnant. This podcast will uncover the process that Christian and I went on to find the lost things, him, and to find the parts of me that were missing. And there's things that are missing in you that prevent you from letting go, whether it's a person, a dream, a lifestyle. That process of trusting and finding the lost pieces and integrating them. That's where you get your sustainable transition that will carry on. Tune in every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific on transformationtalkradio.com. You can find me at hannahvelton.online.
Tune in to The Crooked Climb with Suzanne Taylor King and Denise Stiegel, committed to guiding your journey through the world through mindfulness and personal care. These ladies are rebellious, real, funny, and powerful, helping you realize your full potential while navigating the twists and turns life always brings us. Tune in live every second and fourth Friday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific on transformationtalkradio.com.
Hi, I'm Brittany Miles from Miles to Go, How to Lose to Gain It All. I have a mindfulness practice to help you face difficult emotions. It's called RAIN. Developed by Tara Brach, the letters mean the following. R, recognize what's happening to you. A, allow the situation to be as it is. I, investigate feelings with interest and care, and nurture yourself with self-compassion. So you see, rain isn't so bad after all. Tune into my show to learn more. See you on the second and fourth Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, here on Transformation Talk Radio. Feel free to reach out to me at miles2gocoaching.com. That's miles, the number 2, go coaching.com.
How do you feel? Just okay? Well, how about you tune in and get ready to be more with the Healing Hour with me, Doc Martin, every third Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. I'm ready for your questions, and I can't wait to help you find the answers. Every month, we'll have a new live call-in show with innovative topics and a powerful hour of healing. To learn more about me, visit DrSharonMartin.com. See you there. I'm going to be here. You won't want to miss it.
Hey everyone, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You are here with me, Brittany Miles, on Miles to Go with Brittany Miles, how to lose to gain it all. And what we're talking about today are thoughts. Thoughts are things. They are very, very, very powerful. Hence the title of the episode being Your Brain Lied to You. It's a funny thing, as I've been sharing from my family of origin. One of my primary caregivers used to say this to me and their progeny whenever we would do something that basically was dumb because we were under 10 or 12 years old. And they would ask, hey, who told you to do that? Or why did you think that was a good idea? And we would then talk our way through it. And then they would sit back and go, nope, your brain lied to you. Now you're punished. And it's always been really funny in our families. Our kids have heard this story. They've had this experience. And it's just been kind of a hoot for us in my family. But I thought it would be a good way to tie us back to the power of thoughts and thinking. And in the last segment, we were talking about how thoughts are things and where that comes from in terms of New Thought churches such as Church of Religious Science, Science of Mind, as well as Unity. And one of the foundational teachings is that one must control their mind. And they do it through sort of the Christ as well as the Buddha. And one of those things is true mindfulness, is that whatever you think, you will see and experience in your world. So therefore, if you think that you're not great as a person, that's the experience you're going to have, and that's the experience others are going to have of you, and that's the impression that you're going to make. If you think you are a rock star and the greatest thing going, most people will be like, yeah, that person's pretty positive. They have good self-esteem, and they'll have that experience of you, and you will see more opportunities versus negativity. You will be a victor versus a victim. And we also chatted about the fact that according to a study from Michigan State University Extension, is that people have about 80,000 thoughts per day. And I think that's crazy. But when we think about, of those, 90% are negative, or I should say 90% are repeating, which makes sense. We all have that recording, that tape, CD, or playlist of those negative thoughts. Of thoughts, 90% or 80% of those are negative. And this was according to a 2017 study. So now I want to talk about, again, which we talked about in my last show, affirmations, with Bronwyn Morgan. And I highly encourage you to take a look at that, because this show really partners nicely. Is that, is it just the power of positive thinking or affirmations or changing your thoughts? And I think it's a lot of all of that together. And what we talked about in that last show, is it just positive thinking? And there are folks that are like, oh, it's positive thinking. Why would I be positive if the world's on fire? Okay, so not to make fun of those people, but I just did that voice, kind of like a meme of that dog sitting like on a patio. This is fine. Like, no, positive thinking isn't going to help you in that particular situation, other than get out of that situation. And once you're out of that situation, once you're out of a toxic situation, now you're in a place to change your thinking. Now you're in a place to change your life. So yeah, positive thinking, once you're out of that toxic place, gives you that safe space to start having different ideas and being open to those different ideas. So what are those different ideas? It's creating an affirmation. So if you have a core belief that you are unlovable, you can start working simply with this affirmation, just you in the mirror, I am lovable. Louise Hay, a big proponent and leader in affirmation, positive thinking, choosing your thoughts widely, had an exercise which she called mirror work, where you use the affirmation in the mirror. So whenever I'm in the mirror, brushing my teeth, washing my hands, doing my makeup, or doing skincare, or just doing my hair, however you get to a mirror, you find that time in your day and you would say, I am lovable. And look at yourself. Really look at yourself. Don't look at your forehead. Don't look at your nose. Don't look at your chin. Don't look up at the right corner or the left corner. Look at you in the eye and say, I am lovable. I am lovable. And feel that. Say it maybe 3 times, maybe 5 times. If all you can do is 1 time, that's enough. But if you focus on you in your eyes with that thought in the mirror, that's the start of change. As you continue this, try to be as consistent as you possibly can, you'll start to feel a shift. Each time you start to hear that voice say, you're unlovable because you're in a situation where your partner is pushing you away, and that's where you go to, that I'm unlovable. Think back to that experience with the mirror work. And then you're starting to access that new voice, which isn't really new. It's you. And that's the power of doing the mirror work with the affirmation. You are accessing you. Looking into your eyes, you have your own power. It's you. Over time, if you continue this with just this one example and maybe start to crop it out to other thoughts like I'm stupid or I'm ugly, whatever. If you're, when we were working, like during the middle of the day where you just come out of a meeting and it was rough, not R-O-U-G-H, but R-U-F-F, rough, right? Take a moment in the bathroom. Look in your eyes while you're thinking, man, I'm stupid. Be like, you know what? I am doing the best I can. And I am able to be successful at whatever I choose to do. Changes your life. It changes you in that moment. It gives you that bit of grace, that ability to shift the power away from the recording to reality. And that's what all of this work is for, to shift you more towards reality. Because all of these recordings, the CD, the tape, the playlist, is usually negative. And by the time you start getting deeper and deeper and deeper in this work, fewer of those hits, if you will be on the playlist. They'll fall off. And in their place, you have positive thoughts. Soon it can become almost automatic of, I can't afford that. I should have budgeted better. I'm a financial failure. Be like, nope, I'm doing the best that I can right now, given all of, what I'm just doing the best that I can. Right? You can find a way to get yourself back to it. I mean, I do it now where I will have in my mind still some of those thoughts, a lot of them, since we have 80,000 of them a day, but I'm slowly minding my way through. Whenever I have a thought, let's say in my last example, I'm a financial failure. I'm like, nope, I'm doing the best I can with what I have. And you know what? I'm doing really good. And I'm grateful. I'm going to gratitude now for all that I have. And I will then, for me, go into a little gratitude exercise. And that thought just scurries away. Like I said, once you start to shine the light on some of these thoughts, on the recording, the playlist, the tape, they scurry like roaches with daylight. Again, kind of a gross analogy, but I think appropriate, because once it's out in the open, you can look at it and be like, nope, that's not me. Not at all. Because you're calling a thing a thing. And that's Iyanla. Calling a thing a thing. I just love that. That's just like breathtaking in its simplicity and what it does for you. So by attacking these thoughts as they come up, you will start to see a change. Your world will start to shift. And I've seen that in my own life. So in 2016, as you know, I had my breakdown to break through. And when I was in breakdown, everything was negative. And then once I started to get into the breakthrough, where I started to shift some of my belief systems about myself, I started to see more opportunity. I had gone from victim to victor, right? And that's a huge leap. And that's really strong, where I was able to see the change and be the change that I wanted to be. And life became simpler. I was able to see life as just as it was, and then be able to make the best decision possible for whatever I needed to do in my life. And that is because I allowed myself to change my thoughts. And once I changed my thinking, I got a whole new world exposed to me that I never would have. Because thinking with that playlist, that tape, that CD, it kept me small. But by changing my thoughts, boom, my world opened up. So I'm going to leave you with that. We are going to go to break now. You are with me, Brittany Miles, on Miles to Go, How to Lose to Gain It All. And what we're talking about is thoughts, controlling your thoughts, your mind, your thinking. And we will continue to see in the next segment how we can support ourselves better on thought management. So stay tuned.
Sanskrit is not just a language to be written and spoken, but it is a doorway to gaining understanding of how we experience life and truth. Conscious Confidence is a book written by Sanskrit scholar Sarah Main. The stories Sarah shares will take you on a journey of understanding how the power of this ancient language is not only still relevant, but can truly transform your everyday life. Drawing upon the deeper meanings behind the Sanskrit words for confidence, Sarah Main outlines principles for harnessing the fourfold energy of conscious confidence: focusing, uniting, simplifying, and energizing. Not just a book, a life guide. Available now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Inner Traditions. You can find all of those links on consciousconfidence.com.
You know, marriage is not always easy, but skills that improve communication go a long way. Tune in to the Relationship Rehab Show, Recovering Happiness in Your Love with Nancy Landrum and Dr. Pat each month on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Nancy is an author and teacher empowering couples to create and sustain loving marriages. Learn to listen, speak, and handle conflict with respect so your love can flourish. To learn more about Nancy and her work, visit nancylandrum.com.
Tune into 3 Things I've Learned with Susan Dolce every first and third Tuesday of the month at noon Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio. Join Susan and her guests as they share the stories that shift our souls about radical transformations, courageous breakthroughs, and life lessons. 3 Things I've Learned with Susan Dolce. For more information, go to transformationtalkradio.com or visit Susan's website at susandolce.com.
Hey everyone, it's me, Psychic Medium Jamie.
And me, Spirit Walker Nicole from Shades of Spirit, bringing you another Shades of Spirit tip of the week. Jamie, have you ever wondered if you might be an empath?
Yes, I have, and some signs that we may be an empath include an inexplicable desire to avoid crowds in places like movie theaters, shopping centers, and restaurants.
You know, sometimes I'm able to walk into a room with other people, and I know exactly how they're feeling, even if no one is saying a word.
I can attend social gatherings or other events and find myself so emotionally exhausted and physically drained that I could probably sleep for a week.
If any of these examples resonate with you, please come check out our new live podcast, Shades of Spirit. It's on every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on Transformation Talk Radio.
You can also find us at shadesofspirit.com, where you can book your appointment or call us at 858-684-7575.
The Truth is Funny. Shift Happens with monthly guest host Karen Betton. Tune in for powerful conversations about health and wellness. Karen brings unique insights rich with humor and science to her discussions with experts in medicine, movement, psychology, spirituality, and so much more. Don't miss Karen on The Truth is Funny every third Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. For more information about Karen, visit KarenBetton.com.
Hey everyone, welcome back. You're here with me, Brittany Miles, on Miles to Go, How to Lose to Gain It All. And today we're talking about thoughts. Thoughts are things and how we manage those thoughts. It's a beast. I entitled the episode, Your Brain Lied to You, because when I was little, before getting punished, caregivers would ask, who told you that? Why did you think that was a good idea? I would explain myself, and they were like, your brain lied to you, and I would get punished. So it made me think that it's a great correlation or link to how we actually manage our own thoughts in our head, because our brain lies to us on a daily basis, or actually moment by moment. We have at least 80,000 thoughts a day. 98,000 are repeating, and about 80% of those are negative, right? The fundamental thoughts for everyone, I think, in the world, I'm going to be that expansive, is I am not good enough. I am not smart enough. I am unlovable. I don't look as good as the way I should be. And that takes a toll on us. And those thoughts are real. And if you change them, then your life changes fundamentally. If you look at the work that Louise Hay does, in her book, You Can Heal Your Life, she talks a lot about how if you can go from the thought of I am not enough to I am enough in this infinite moment and I'm fully supported by the universe. If you shift from, A to B, once you're in that B place, it's like, woo, that's powerful. Another thing that we talked about is her belief in doing and saying affirmations in the mirror, she calls aptly mirror talk, mirror work, where you are looking directly into your eyes, looking at yourself, and you are talking to that still small voice in you to say, heck yeah, I am good enough. And once you have that power and continue to do that, in an intentional way, your life is going to shift and change, and you will go from breakdown to breakthrough. And I shared last segment, that's something that significantly happened for me. So I'm calling this segment Choose Your Fighter in the same way that you would choose a fighter in a video game. We have different quote unquote fighters to help us with all of these thoughts, all of these negative thoughts. And by doing so, we will help our character, ourselves, on our quest to just be our best selves and hear that still voice within us, which is who we really are. So the first one would be meditation. We talked about meditation, I think on my January 5th show, the first show of the year for me with Eden Harmony, and about the power and the possibilities that come from meditation by slowing down, focusing on the breath, we can start to quell some of those thoughts a bit. A lot of noise, which is those thoughts and other little things that they bring with them, will come up in meditation at first. But as you start to build a practice, could be as short as 5 minutes. Once you slow down, you're going to start to open up to what is actually real. You're going to hear that still small voice inside of you that's going to tell you what is real for you and empower you. Once you get rid of all of the gunk, as I've been saying, kind of nasty analogy, but once that using the breath, using meditation is going to be like turning on the light and letting the roaches scurry away, because we're shining a light on all the things that are positive and good and places where we can make effective change. Another place where we can work is with prayer. Whatever your spirituality, whatever you believe in. I come from a Christian background, so I actually pray. I use prayer meditation every day, where I ask for strength. I will read the Psalms. I will pray the Psalms, where I will lean up against what is found within the Bible to support me. I get emails every day from Unity, which use a Bible verse to explicate a certain spiritual thought or philosophy. And I try to work with that during the day of being peace or having faith or divine order. And by using that, I'm able to quell some of those negative thoughts and start to hear myself. So if I am impatient with waiting for an opportunity that I want, I have to go back and pull back. Everything's happening in divine order, in the divine way. Everything's going to happen the way it's going to happen, and life unfolds the way it unfolds. So it takes me out of the future back into the present. So those future thoughts of me, of potential failure, right, can stop, right? And I can focus on what's good and right in front of me. Again, we've been talking about using affirmation, doing that mirror work, or just having affirmations on Post-it notes, sticky notes, or index cards. I have sticky index cards where I have on my mirror places where I'm just like, yep, I can see this affirmation during the day. Or I have things on my phone where I will have pictures of different affirmations and I go back to them. Sometimes I will use a Bible verse that works for me. Again, as an affirmation to know that everything's okay. So for example, be still and know I am God. Whenever the thoughts are running rampant about failure and I'm unable to take care of myself or my family, that's something I know. I don't have to be in control. Somebody else is in control. I also will focus on my breath. There is that grounding meditation that I've talked about that I use, which is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it's acknowledging 5 things I see around myself, 4 things I can touch, 3 things I can hear, 2 things I can smell, and 1 thing I can taste. And lastly, the tool that we talk about a lot around here is called RAIN from Tara Brach, where R, you recognize what's going on around you. A, you allow it to be what it is without changing it. I, you inspect what's going on for you, what those triggers are for you, and you nurture yourself with self-compassion and self-care. And as you go through those thoughts, which create negative feelings or negative realities for you, run through RAIN as many times as you need to in order to process and deal with those thoughts. And it can help bring down the stress a lot. I find when I am just like, oh my God, the sky is falling, I go back to RAIN a lot. So what we've learned today, our brains do lie to us. They lie to us all day long, at least 80,000 times a day they lie to us. But we can choose our fighter, which is meditation, RAIN, breath, prayer, and affirmation to take over, to take control. You can heal your life, like Lorraine Hay says. Your thoughts are things, and you can manage those thoughts to change your reality and change your life. And with that, thank you for your time today. And I will see you in 2 weeks. And thanks again for being a part of the show. I'm Brittany Miles on Miles to Go with Brittany Miles, How to Lose to Gain It All. I'll see you soon.
You have been listening to Miles to Go with Brittany Miles. How to lose to gain it all. Tune in live every second and fourth Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com, where Brittany Miles teaches you how to lose to gain it all with the healing power of surrender. Are you ready to lead a happier life? For more information or to connect with Brittany, visit miles2gocoaching.com. That's Miles with the number 2, G-O, coaching.com.
Views expressed on this program are those of the host, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the views of the station, its management, or advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.